I know Chiggs is in here recording this.
No Chig Smooth in here, right? So whatever you say,
so you know Chig gonna have everything up there.
Whatever you say, Chig's gonna be on YouTube with it, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the paperwork party begin. Now, after Gillie and Wallow had Charlamagne and Envy on their podcast, and they all took shots at Joe, a lot of people gave Joe flack and criticism for refusing to say anything about Gillie and Wallow. Joe was only focused on Charlamagne. He actually blamed Charlamagne for being the reason why the topic came up and why Gillie and Wallow had to address him in the first place. Now, if you guys have forgotten, let me refresh your memory with what Gillie said.
Change the game for
hold on. Let me tell you something, Envy. I don't give a fuck about no list, Envy. You hear me? Because you know why? And I ain't taking no shots. I'm just telling the truth. Don't compare us to nobody that ain't stopping in the middle of their motherfucking podcast and saying, this episode is brought to you by. So when you out there creating your funky ass list, you leave us off unless you talk about the paid list. And we can do a paperwork part. Talk to me.
Yep, that's right. Gillie went straight to the money talk. He doesn't care about Complex's list. All he care about is the list of which podcasters are really getting to this chicken. Now, looks like Joe Budden was being calculated in his response. I guess he didn't want his Gillie shots to overshadow what he was trying to get across to Charlamagne, because Joe took a shot at Gillie. Here's what he said.
I turn the fuck up when I'm feeling good in here.
Somebody lied,
I don't want to hear none of that money talk from you. Your headboard is covering a very small window in your primary bedroom. I can tell it's not like that. Stop fucking playing with me here. Let's go.
Now, a lot of fans were confused at first when they heard this as to who could Joe be possibly talking about. Sometimes Joe goes on rants and says random things throughout the podcast, but this time fans were able to piece it together like a puzzle. If you guys follow and watch Gillie's Instagram page, you guys will notice sometimes Gillie does videos with his wife. It's always in the same room, looks like it's their bedroom. I personally have never noticed that small window that Joe was referring to. Now, for those of you guys that do not live in the East Coast, some of you guys may not have basements in your houses, specifically people from Florida, Texas. Bedrooms that are built with those small windows up top are typically for basement bedrooms or attic bedrooms. Now, obviously, this is Joe's way of trying to call Gillie broke, trying to let him know you're not really living in a nice house, you're not really living in a mansion. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this was pretty funny, pieced together like this. Shout out to the JBP fan that actually put this together, because this is hilarious. But if we want to get serious, obviously Gillie isn't broke. Obviously, we don't know what Gillie's house looks like. We don't know the infrastructure of Gillie's house. But hey, jokes over everything. Now, a lot of people have been criticizing Joe, saying, yo, you didn't put a name on this bullet, it doesn't count. Now, you guys are right. Also, remember, when Gillie dissed Joe, he didn't say Joe's name either. I think these two are going to be playing these types of subliminal games until one of them eventually says the other person's name. Now, Wack 100, who is both friends with Joe Budden and Gillie, obviously Wack does not care. He chimed in as well. He said, yo, Joe Budden tripping. He know Gillie and broke. Hashtag trolling. Now, if there's anybody that knows a thing or two about trolling, it's definitely Wack. There's going to be a couple more jabs to come in the future. I'm sure Gillie is going to have something to say on his podcast. Tell me what you guys think about this, man. Post comments below. Subscribe to my channel. Like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.